So good morning, sir, professor. Uh, I'm Shervan Nickolai Dabu, and I'm here today to configure a router using Cisco Packet Tracer as instructed by the activity. So may set of instructions dito. So for now, we're just going to set the actual activity right here. It's actually recording. Okay, so I'm safe. Okay. So I've restarted the activity to 0% again since I was already at 100 earlier since I was testing stuff. So let's start. So the first thing I have to do is actually set up the IP addresses, both IPv6 and IPv4, for both PC3 and PC4. So PC1 and PC2 is irrelevant for the meantime since we're only focusing on this and pinging this. We're only setting up this basic network here, right here, and this router 2. This is going to be ignored for some reason, but we're just going to focus on PC3 and PC4 and this entire network. So let's set up PC3 and PC4's IPVs network on both IPv6 and IPv4. So first, let's set them up. So I don't want to memorize the IPv6 addresses and IPv4 since there's so much of them. So I'm just going to copy and paste the IPv6 and IPv4. So let's start with PC3. Okay, this is PC3. The function going to be static since we're manually setting up the IPv6 addresses. So remove the /24 since that's the subnet mask. It won't register here. So since it says 24/24 subnet mask, it has to be 255.255.255.0. Yes, that's the default for a /24 subnet mask. Okay, so the default gateway is 10.4. This is basically the router's IPv address, but I'm not really sure why there's different or might be mistaken. But this is basically the default gateway for this PC. Okay, 10.0.4.1. And then we're going to set up the IPv6 default gateway. Okay, that's the IPv6. That's the IPv6 default gateway. Okay, make sure I copy that properly since I'm register if I'm mistaken it. And then the IPv, where is it? Okay, IPv6 IP address. So this is a /64 network. It's usually for large networks, if I remember correctly from my previous sessions in network administration or data communications and networking. But yeah, basically a /64 network. Let's just put that there. Oh, I think I did something wrong. Okay, let me just copy this properly again. I might have accidentally pressed the space since this is really sensitive. Packet tracer is really sensitive. Okay, there's no more errors. Yeah, I think I might have copied this space right here by accident. Yes, there's a space between a 10 and a slash. It's IPv6. I'm just making sure that I copied the correct one. I may have not. I have copied the. Okay, no, never mind. It's all correct since it's 4, since it's IPv6 Okay, this is good. So for now, that's good. Should be 11%. Okay, good. Okay, PC4 now. So we're done with PC3. Let's move on to PC4's configuration. Let's go to the desktop again, IP configuration. Then copy the information here. Again, a /24 address. So we already know it's going to be 255.255.255.0 again. 255. Okay, now I'm going to remove you. 255.255.255 and 0 again. Default gateway is going to be 10.5. 10.0.5. So we're going to be starting over this because it's much more simpler to name it this way rather than making it complex. Okay, I've added a slash by accident. Should fix it. Default gateway of the router for the IPv6 address. Should be good. And then again, a /64 network for the IPv6. Okay, where is it? So 64. I'm not gonna copy that again because yeah, an error might occur because of a random space or a white space that I'm not familiar with. Okay, it's good. This should be around 22%. Oh yeah, 23. That's good. Where's my Cisco packet tracer? Okay. Next is to configure the actual router. So, oh, whoops, I accidentally pressed the network. I can't really do anything about that because it's locked. Let's go to the command line interface. So go to enable, let's enable network, or enable the exec mode. For that, we're going to global configuration mode or configure terminal. I'm just used to conf since it's much more shortened. It's basically just configure terminal in shortened version. So for now, let's name the host router or the router itself to R2. Okay, it's already named to R2. Now we have to make sure that there's a password for the enable or the exec mode. Enable secret. Okay, so if we enable secret and then Cisco Not exactly Cisco, but the I is representing one is for security purposes. As mentioned by the activity, at least. Okay. There's a password for the enable or the exec mode, user exec mode. So next is to configure the IP domain. Well, this is best to prevent this for the IP domain lookup. Let me see CNA lab. Okay, sorry, I have a bit of a cold for some reason. Oh, my throat isn't nice today. Okay, I have to configure domain name, call CCNA lab. Okay, we're done with that. So after that, we have to do the IP, the no IP. Remember correctly, no IP domain. Okay, no IP domain. It's not automatically completing, but it can't really think about it. Okay, there it is. So what this does, it just prevents you from accidentally looking up a DNS server or DNS IP address to translate by accident. You know, when you type something in the remote or the the router itself, like let's say you accidentally type enable instead of enable, it will look up a DNS server, and this command prevents that from doing so. This is really convenient since I've already mistakenly done that a lot of times, and it just tries to look up a DNS server that doesn't exist, which just takes a lot of time. Which I have to press this button to skip just to ensure that it's finished looking for whatever it is trying to look for but doesn't exist. Thank you for existing. Okay. Uh, okay. The time to encrypt the password. Service encryption again. I think we've already done this in the previous activities. Service password encryption. Okay, yep, just to encrypt the password. Okay, so now we have to try to set a password for the secure shell. So let's set up a secure shell first. Username, SSH admin. I'm sure I typed that in correctly. SSH admin, SSH admin. Okay, I typed it in with secret. Now this is supposed to be SSH, SSH add exclamation mark for the I. Okay, make sure you copy that. Make me 55HADM exclamation point or exclamation mark N. So that's good. So we have a secure shell. Now time to crypto. Okay, it's not auto completing. I might have typed in wrong. Okay, good. Key generate RSA. Okay, so crypto keys with 124 bits of data. Make sure it's 124. Okay, good. So for that, we're gonna go to line configuration mode. Now in this stage, we're actually trying to configure the different connectivities between the between the different switches in the local network of this network right here. Let's just move this network right here. So there's a lot of commands here. It's mostly just setting up IP addresses, so ensure that they're actually all interconnected so they can communicate with each other. All of them are presets within the between PC4 and the switch routers. You're just trying to set up the connection using the interfaces, or basically the passive interfaces, the serial interfaces right here. You're all using that to create a virtual telegraph, if I remember correctly, VTY, to exchange information between that virtual network. So we're using these interfaces to communicate with the actual router or to each other. So PC4 can send data to PC3 later on, or PC3 can send data to PC4 later on. So let's do that. But for me to do that, I'm gonna use the document since there's way too many IPv6 addresses. I don't want to memorize those, so I'm just gonna copy and paste all of the addresses as mentioned. So we're gonna go for first in the line console. Okay, so let's go for line console 0 first. So this is not exactly for the actual internet, or rather the communication for now. We're just setting up the actual timeout system for when the command line interface is not being used for, let's say, 6 minutes. It will automatically log out just to ensure that there's no console messing with by other people that you don't want to other people to mess with. So you're automatically logging out. It's like console 0. Let's enable the password. We already know what we want the password to be. So let's go logging asynchronous. Okay, synchronous. Exec timeout. Here it is. Exec timeout. 6 minutes. It's basically 6 minutes. Now this will be applied into the login phase. So we're already done with this. You're going exit. So let's assign a password to the BTY, or the virtual networks. Line BTY, I think this is automatic. Yep. Okay. Line configuration mode again. Password, same stuff. So we just go exec time. Okay. Thank God for autocomplete, right? Okay, 6 minutes and 0. Transport to input. So this is for SSH, or secure shell host. SSH. Okay, we good. Login and logout. Okay, we good for that. So this time we're creating a banner. We just exit this. We're creating a banner for warnings, of course. Whoever tries to log in or will try to log in. The network will have a warning to them that this is for authorized users. This will appear both on the command line interfaces for R2 or for the secure shell host when you're trying to remotely access router 2's configuration or command line interface with another PC, such as PC3. Later on, we're going to do that with the testing phase. So, okay, we already have setting up the banner. Keep in mind that I've already tested this out earlier, so yeah, I should know what I'm doing right now. Let's go to the IPv6 routing. This just ensure that that the IPv6 addresses can work, since yeah, that's not by default, it's actually off. So this enables unicast, or basically just one-to-one communication with other PCs within the network. Okay. That's why it's called unicast routing. Okay, we've already enabled it. So this phase is the actual configuring of each of the interfaces or the wires seen throughout the Cisco to the activity. You know, the wires that I've shown here. All of that. See those wires from FA? These, mainly these, just to ensure that they can all communicate with each other and connect. So let's set them up. Okay. So first is the interface. I can just skip this. Gigabit internet. This is where the gigabit internet connectivity 000. I think that's it. Okay. So this, I'm just gonna copy it. I do not want to manually type them in all of the time. So this is for switch 3, or basically, I think that connects PC3 to the router, switch 3. So this is the IP address of switch 3 right here, as we've seen earlier from the tables and how we've set them up earlier from their interfaces. This is their IPv6 addresses as well. IPv6 address again. Now this is for the default gateway. The earlier one, you know, this one, this is for the default gateway of the switch 3, or rather the router PC3. Okay, we've set them up with the /CC4-bit network. Let's just make sure that it doesn't turn off. Let's just ensure that it's continually active. Okay, so we're already done with that. Oh wait, I'm sorry, it's wrong spelling. Shut down. Okay, so it's gonna be up for a while. It's not gonna turn off. Okay, we're done with this configuration or line configuration. We're gonna move on to the next interface, which is interface G1. I'm just gonna again copy and paste every one of these because I do not want to memorize these. There's way too many. But essentially, you're just trying to establish the connection between the interfaces to know where the computer is supposed to send the data, or where the data is supposed to go to the proper virtual network, or to the proper interface. So no errors occur. And I knew this because yeah, I've already tried doing this before with layer 3 switches. It wasn't fun setting up those virtual networks because it was using a different interface. I realized it late, and yeah, it wasn't working. I realized way too late to just change the interface to properly communicate. Well, that was a fun experience. Just a random experience right there. Okay, that's for the PC5, by the way. I mean PC4. As you can see, we already know that was PC4 because we've already configured it earlier. This is the default gateway of PC4. For the IPv6 at least. This is its IP address. Just copy and paste everything. And again, no shutdown. Just to ensure that everything is up for this router. Or for this interface. Okay. Okay, we're already done with this. Move on to the next interface. This is the thing that's connecting to the internet, if I remember correctly, you know, that I think it's this. if I'm not mistaken. See, I'm already complete. So we're all gonna test this out later. See if everything is actually properly working. So we're gonna go for serial one. Description link. Wait, did I type in description link? Oh yeah, I did. Good. This is for router one, by the way. This is not for. Oh yeah, this is not for the internet. I forgot. This is for router one. Yeah, here. I think it's around here. It is this. To connect it to router one, if I'm not mistaken, though. Doesn't really work later. I'll explain why in a bit. After testing phase. This is for the configuration, the default address. Just copy and paste this because there's way too many of them. No, I don't think this is gonna be fun to do once we're actually in exams. Unless you, of course, memorize it 1 Okay, so it's now shut down now. So let's move on to the thing that's actually connected to the internet, which is interface S1011. Let's exit this. Okay, last thing, the thing that's connected to the internet. This is the actual interface for it. It's about here. Here it is. This is the line that connected to the internet. Okay. Where is it? Where am I? Okay. Description link. Yep. To the internet. There's a serial connection, by the way. It's not the gigabit connection from earlier. Or the switches. This is a bit different. PV6 addresses. Wait, am I still recording? Wait, I'm just gonna check real quick if I'm still recording. Okay, I'm still recording. Good. IPv6 addresses again for the actual IPv6 address for the internet. Okay, no shutdown again. Now we know what this does. Make sure that it's turned off. So after all of that, make sure to actually save each of your configurations to the exec mode. So let's do this. This basically just copies the current running configuration, the thing that we're actually running right now, to the startup config. So whenever you start up the router, it will automatically load all of these, which is going to be saved into the uh, secondary storage. Okay, startup config. Yep, yep. That's how everything is saved. Now this is supposed to be everything properly done. So, yep, 100%. But we're not done yet. We have to test out each of these connectivities later on, or rather right now, to ensure that everything is done properly. Even though it says 100%, there might be errors. So, we're just gonna move on for a bit, just to make sure that everything is getting to know each other. Okay, I'm lagging. My stream isn't lagging, so yeah, seems good. Okay, so now we have to test each of these out to ensure that everything is working as intended. So for now, we're gonna do is go to the to the PCG. Let's just wait. Let me move this here so it's convenient. Okay, PC3. Let's go to PC3's command line interface or the command prompt. Okay, let's go to command prompt. So let's try to ping PC4 using PC3. I haven't memorized PC4 PC4's address. I think it's some 10.0.5 something, but I'm not gonna risk it, so I'm just gonna. Yep, here it is. Oh yeah, remove the flash 24. That's the subnet mask. Okay. I copy it properly. Okay, PC4. Okay, ping this. Ping this. Should work properly. Okay. So this timed out for the first time because it's still trying to connect properly. It's still trying to set up its IPv addresses just to ensure that everything's properly connected. Let's do that again. Just to ensure that everything is 100% working. It should work completely now. Yep, there it is. Everything is perfect. Everything is being received and being sent back to us as bytes of data in 4 trips. Okay, no loss. Everything is sent properly. Okay. So let's move on. I think we're gonna we're gonna ping both IPv4 and IPv6 address. Okay, so we're gonna be pinging the IPv6 address as well as PC3. Though I'm not gonna do it reversed, I think, because yeah, it's gonna take way too much time. So let's just ping its IPv6 address. This should work. Okay, good. It's replying. Everything is working properly. This PC3, I'm pinging PC4, and everything is working as intended. So good. Well, let me see the thing. And okay, there it is. Okay. So after that, we're going to try to ping the router 2 to ensure that the connection was successful. To ping that is it's just, ping, usual. Okay, no, never mind. I'm doing it reversed. I'm supposed to ping uh R1 or router 1, here. I'm supposed to ping this using this. Okay, so I'm already at exec mode, so I should be able to ping. I'm just gonna copy and paste the IPv6 addresses here because I don't wanna manually type them in. Okay, everything is 100% being sent and being received back as data without loss. I think that's 5 bits of data. Okay, I'm using the IPv6 address. Everything is working as intended again, 100%. Okay, good. Okay, from the command line of PC3 ping ISP. So I'm picking the internet protocol or the internet service provider of this using this network right here. I think this is the internet. That thing that's connected to router 2. I think it's here. I think this is it. Oh, I might be mistaken, but who knows, right? Let's try to ping it. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna be using this. Almost mistakenly using the router again. Okay, good. I'm using PCH here. Okay, ping ISP. Yes, ping ISP. Uh, the internet service provider right here. Remove that. Yes, that's not included. Okay. 0% loss. Everything is working as intended. So so this should not work because we haven't set this up. The ISP for 64. I don't even remember setting up this at all. I don't remember any of addresses setting up this. So this should not work. This should send 0 bytes or request timeout because it's trying to look for it but doesn't exist. So this should timeout. Yep. Post and mission. Okay, good. Everything is working as intended because this doesn't exist. We haven't set this up yet, so we don't really know where this is. So yeah, it sent us this transmission. Yep, as mentioned by the PDF, it hasn't been set up, so it's gonna error. Or rather, it can't find it. Okay, so let's try to access the secure shell of, oh, excuse me, router 2. Basically, we're trying to remotely access the command line interface of router number 2. So let's go ahead and type in the command SSH or secure shell. That's not an 1, that's an L literally. SSH admin. And then the IP address. This is the IP address of PC3 by the way. You're trying to access the command line interface of your router using the secure shell host. So yeah, that we've set it up earlier. We didn't username. Excuse me. Okay, so the password is 55 H add exclamation point and okay, so it works. So here's the banner earlier. As I've mentioned, that it would appear for only authorized users because you're trying to access something that's important. Okay, sorry, because I have a bit of a cold again. Okay. Everything is working as intended. We've already logged in using router number 2. So now we're gonna do is just to show the information from the secure shell host. Using the secure shell host, using the secure shell host, we're going to find the information or gather the information from the router to PC3. You're just trying to get the information or the versions. I think it's just show version. Okay, everything should show up. Okay. Yep. This is information from router 2. Okay, feel like something's missing. Huh. Let me try that. I have a feeling that something's wrong. Let me just try that again. I feel like some things are missing. Oh yeah, there it is. Not sure why that disappeared, but yeah, there it is. This is the complete. So let's check each if everything is the iOS, basically not the Apple devices. I think that stands for Internet Operating System. So we're just checking the version of the operating system of Cisco, the one that's in the router right now, using PC3. So let's take the version. I think this is the version right about, where is it? It's a lot of text. Where is it? Okay, here it is. But the exact version is right about here. Yep, this is the exact version right here. See, as mentioned here. So how much non-volatile RAM? Let's check the RAM. It's right about here. Non-volatile RAM. Here it is. It's the same. Flash memory is also the same. This is basically where the OS is stored and the starting configuration or the current running configuration from earlier. It was saved around in the here. Not exactly in flash memory, but yeah, in flash memory. Never mind. This since flash memory is secondary storage, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't specified that this was secondary storage, but the use is flash memory, so might be. Okay, but it's basically the same thing. Yeah, see? It's the same. So after that, we're just gonna be showing the different versions so to ensure that everything is actually working as intended. Okay, I'm not in exec mode for some reason. Enable. I'm gonna have to go to the exec. Password is. Wait, did I go to exec mode earlier? I don't think I did. I don't think it was important anyway. Okay, it was an exec mode earlier. I guess it was fine if I wasn't an exec mode. It still showed the information. But now I'm gonna go ahead and exec mode. So the password was Cisco with the one. Okay, now I typed the name wrong. C1 Cisco and then 1 2 3 4. Yep, now I'm logged in. Okay. Okay, show version. I'm just gonna copy this because I wanna type it in. I'm way too lazy to type this in. Okay, good. Okay, everything is the same. Okay, I'm not gonna explain that since it's basically just saying the iOS is properly stored. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna explain it. Okay, since this is basically just where the iOS is stored in the registers. Basically, just shows where it's supposed to start or how it's supposed to start. It just loads it from the configuration mode. Just finds it in flash memory and loads it into the configuration mode or the startup mode if it's present. If it's not present, it's gonna go through ROM1 mode. ROM1 mode is basically just, if I remember correctly from our lessons in the data communications and networking or DCN, ROM1 mode is basically just the safe mode, if I remember correctly, or the recovery mode. Yeah, the recovery mode. If something goes wrong, like let's say something's missing, yeah, this would bro. The ROM1 mode would load. So just show password now. Yep, this is the passwords with the encryption. We already know what these does from the previous activities. So let's show on the virtual teleline. But I forgot what's actually this called. Okay, but we're just gonna be showing them all. Everything's working as intended. Next, we're just gonna go with the IP routes, where the IP is actually going using. This is the things that we've been setting up earlier from the router number 2. All of these are from the different connectivities, from the switches to the PCs to the router, and of course the internet and to the other router. The interfaces right here. Those are the different interfaces that we've been setting up earlier, so they can actually properly communicate. Because if we don't set this up, the PCs or the router or the PCs that won't really know where to send it to or how to send it. This is basically going to be the medium of where the data is going to go to. So yeah, it's all working as intended. It's the same thing. I've already checked this earlier. Okay. Okay, let's go through the brief. Okay, okay. Showing the connectivities. Yep, there's it all up. Of course, it's supposed to be all up since we've done the shutdown command from all of them. Okay. Show the IP. Wait, did I do the earlier one? Yep, I did. Okay, let's go here. Paste this because I don't want to type it on. Yep, everything is set up as intended. I feel like I missed something really quickly. Okay, never mind that. So I'll show it briefly. Yep, there it is. Everything is working. These are all of the interfaces again. Let's just like that everything's working. So we're done. So everything is working as intended. These are all just the commands from earlier that we were doing. I'm gonna have to study more of these, but well, basically everything is working as intended. We've officially or successfully set up the PC3's connectivity to PC4 and to the router in the internet. Everything she's working as intended. This, we haven't touched this yet. I'm not sure when are we gonna touch that, but we've just essentially just been touching this part. So that's all. Thank you for listening. That's all for my activity. Again, I'm Shervan, Nickolai, Dabu, and yeah, thank you for watching.